One of my favorite things about bodybuilding, that is lifting weights for the sake of changing your physique into exactly what you want it to be, is that you can mold and shape and create the look that you want. For example, before I started lifting, my shoulders were pretty small and shrimpy. My waist is not small from the front, so I sort of had this SpongeBob look. But as you build your shoulders, as you build your lats and your teres right here, you're able to create the appearance of a smaller waist by adding width up here and also simultaneously training the TVA. And this is a muscle that is underneath the rectus abdominis, or the six pack. And you can think of it as an internal girdle. And I do this because it actually runs horizontally. It's one of the few muscles that do. So you can picture really working on it, tightening it, and it cinching you in, and you can actually lose an inch or two from your waist. Coupled with lifting for the upper body, so really specific exercises that are going to hit not only the side or the medial delt, but we have to look at the rear delts as well, the upper back musculature, the rhomboids, the teres, and that little tiny muscle under here. And before you know it, you have created a superhero physique. So today's workout is going to be just that. We are highly focused on just these areas and simultaneously increasing the size of the upper body strategically, decreasing the size of the waist. So without further ado, let's get in there and build that superhero physique. Our first superset is a T-bar row followed by a plank. To set up for the T-bar row, you're going to need a double D attachment and either a sleeve to hold the end of the bar or a nice sturdy corner, not drywall. You want to start with feet about shoulder width apart, soft bend in the knee, and using either 10 or 25 pound plates can be advantageous as it allows you to get a little bit better range of motion. You want to make sure that you are squeezing your shoulder blades together at the top, and keep in mind the taller you keep your upper body, the higher up on your back you're going to work. So we're going to stand a bit taller as we want to hit the upper back a bit more. Elbows stay close to the sides, and as you slowly lower the bar, you want to think about getting a nice solid range of motion. So you're going to extend your arms, you're going to allow your shoulders to stretch down a little bit before repeating that rep. We're going to go right over into our plank. Now for the plank, this is an isometric exercise, and typically you'll want to hold this for between 30 to 60 seconds, depending on your core strength. Keep track. You can always increase as you go. Your elbows are holding up your upper body and your weight is resting on your toes. Feet are together. Hips are in line with the shoulders, which are in line with the head. You want to make sure that you're not dropping your hips too low or keeping your hips too high. As you get tired, this is especially important that you hold the form. Next superset is a high pull lat pull down followed by a decline plank toe touch. Now for the high pull, we are going to pull high, and this is going to hit the rear delts, the traps, the rhomboids. Go a little bit lighter with this exercise. You're going to keep your body relatively tall, leaning back slightly, keeping your chest up. And as you pull down, you're going to flare your elbows out. And this is going to allow you to perform that high pull. So this is a lot different than the lat pull down. With a lat pull down, typically you're going to keep your elbows closer to your body. You can go a lot heavier. We're working some of the smaller musculature in the upper back. This is why we are going lighter, flaring the elbows out and pulling high. Next, you're just going to go right into the decline plank toe touch. Feet are going to be on the seat of the lat pull down, and you're going to get into that plank position. So everything is going to be in line. Your heels will be in line with your hips, which will be in line with your shoulders. Now, you're going to alternate from left side to right side. So you'll take your right leg, for example, and you're just going to keep your legs straight, tap the ground, bring it back up to the starting position and move on to the left side. And you're just going to go back and forth. Next superset is a rear delt press, followed by a vacuum twist. Now for the rear delt press, you're going to want a high incline on the back of your bench. We are going to be facing the pad, the back of the bench, and rear delt press, just how it sounds. We're going to be hitting more of the side delts and the rear delts. So you're going to go lighter on this exercise as well. And you're just going to focus on pressing straight up. And this might seem a little weird as we're typically used to pressing the other way. That's why I recommend going light. This is pretty much the only pressing movement that is going to hit the delts. This is going to build beautiful width across the upper body. So as you press up, you're going to think of pressing directly upwards. When you lower the dumbbells, you are going to try to get your upper arm to just below parallel. Depending on your mobility, getting even lower is great to increase that range of motion. And then you're just going to grab one of those dumbbells and perform a vacuum as well as you can. So you're just going to pull in your belly button to your backbone and twist from side to side, holding that dumbbell. It's okay to take a little breath here and there. So breathe out, breathe in very quickly, pull that belly button back to the backbone, and continue to perform the twist. Our last superset is a leaning forward lateral raise followed by the renegade row. Now, for the lean forward lateral raise, we are going to hit side delts, also rear delts. This is going to help with building width across the upper back. And you can use the normal weight that you would use for lateral raise. You are standing feet about shoulder width apart, soft bend in the knee, and this is going to help absorb any momentum. You want to try to keep your body as still as possible. And by leaning forward, that's when we're going to also recruit those rear delts. Think about pushing the dumbbells away. So at that mid-rep point, you're going to have a nice soft elbow. Palms are going to be facing down, nice and slow on that negative. And as you reach almost perpendicular to the floor with your arms, you're going to think about pushing those dumbbells away again, trying to keep constant tension and not spending too much time with your arms extended towards the floor, as you don't have any tension on the muscle here. So we're just trying to keep that tension, constant tension on those side and rear delts. We're just going to use those same dumbbells. We're going to get into high plank position. So head is in line with the shoulders, the hips, and the heels. And I take a wide stance with the legs about 1.5, maybe 2 times shoulder width. This is really going to help you keep your balance as you alternate from side to side with your row. Now with the row, this is going to be relatively light. This is going to get your heart rate up. And the main benefit here is that core training of the TVA. So you're going to alternate from right side to left side, pulling that dumbbell right up to the rib cage, the upper chest area, keeping your elbow close to your body and squeezing that shoulder blade as you reach that mid-rep point. Now you're going to return the dumbbell and you're going to switch sides. And as you go from left to right, try to keep your shoulders and your hips square to the floor. This is going to help really engage those abs. Anytime you're doing supersets, it's one exercise followed by the next one in quick succession. Then you're going to take a break. It's anywhere between 45 seconds all the way up to 3 minutes. Now, if your goal is fat loss, you're not necessarily interested in gaining that much muscle, you may take a little bit less time in between supersets. This is going to help keep your heart rate elevated and give you a bit more of a cardio workout versus more of a weight workout. You're typically not going to be able to lift as much if you're going the entire time. If your goal is to gain muscle, then I would suggest performing the exercise, the lifting exercise followed by your abs exercise, and giving yourself 2 to 3 minutes. What we don't want is your cardiovascular system to be the limiting factor here. You don't want to be gassed when you're doing your pull downs and need to stop a couple reps short because you're very out of breath. That's not going to help with gaining muscle. So it's all about balance. And if you have that time to spend in the gym, take a little bit more time for recovery for gaining muscle. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Fit Fam. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I put a new video out every Wednesday, and they're typically geared towards helping you mold and shape your physique into exactly what you want it to be. That's it for this time. Until next time, train smart and train hard, y'all.